What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Poke Office. My name is Colin. In today's video, we're talking about all the massive gains we're seeing in the Pokemon investing scene as we speak. Like, it's absolutely wild what is happening. All through Sword and Shield era, all through Scarlet and Violet era, we're seeing these single cards just rocket up in price. So I've always asked myself the question, do Pokemon cards actually increase in value over time? Like, in some respect, I want to say no, they don't, because at some level they just like reach that plateau and kind of stay there. But we're seeing it right now. These modern cards, Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet era, are increasing in price, like literally by the day. Here's a picture from someone in the Discord community, and literally they're seeing $100 increases in a single day on their collector app. Like, absolutely wild stuff is going on. So what is it? Is it market manipulation? Probably yes, to some extent. And I'm not going to pretend that I know what I'm talking about in that regard. So we're not going to go into that too much. I'm just going to report on the data. Number two, I think it's just like the natural progression of these modern cards. People want them. It's getting harder and harder to find near mint copies of them. And I mean, Pokemon, in the last year or so, we've kind of just seen everything slide down a little bit. Like, we're talking about the Moonbreon, the Rayquaza, the Giratina, the Gengar. They all kind of just like took a little bit of a tumble here. Over the last couple of weeks, maybe even the last couple of months, we've seen them start to rise back up again. So maybe they're just, it's like that natural progression. They started off high, came down, and now they're on the climb again. But then there's some that are just like seeing actually rapid gains. But before we get into the data, there's two things we need to talk about. Number one, as I'm recording this, I'm less than 100 subscribers away from that beautiful 10,000 subscriber mark. Really excited. I got some awesome giveaways going to be happening then. They're going to be given away on the live stream, which is happening April 26th. Friday at 4 p.m. So you're going to want to tune in. We got Cosmic Eclipse. We got Unified Minds. We got Evolving Skies. We got, I don't even know, Fusion Strike, all sorts of stuff to open up. Plus, great prizes going to be given away that night to celebrate what we've been building here at the Poke Office. So make sure to also help me out in this video by leaving a comment, hitting the subscribe button, hitting the like button. Really helps me out. Number two, I want to tell you about this new app called the Pocket Dex app. So, couple really awesome things. It's a new app. So first and foremost, like, shout out to people who just use their creative gifts to make stuff. Isn't that amazing? And the Pokemon community is so full of like creative people, people who want to be part of the community, people who are generous in the community, people who make apps in the community, people who just trade and who buy and sell. Like, there's everyone in the Pokemon community. Absolutely amazing stuff. But really cool features of this app. Number one, you literally can just like scan a card and it adds it into your collection. I think that's really, really brilliant, because I don't know about you, but some other apps that I've used just are a pain in the butt. Like, you got to search for your cards and then add them. Like, just tracking your collection kind of sucks sometimes. This app makes it super easy. You literally just scan your card. It's in your collection. Boom. Number two, right inside the app, you can search for a card that you're looking for, and it brings you right to the TCG Player website where you can go buy and look for the cards that are available there. So kind of a cool way of tracking and also adding to your collection. Number three, on this app, you can actually add your friends and you can track their collection compared to your collection. So it's kind of cool. A couple things I like about this. It's not like a social media feed where anyone like public can come look at your collection. It's like you actually have to add your friend on here. But it's kind of like almost a competitive feel where, let's pretend that we're both master collecting Lost Origin. Well, I can see that Buddy over here is at 67% of the way there. I'm at 72% of the way there. I can see what cards he needs. He can see what cards I need. He can see what cards I have. I can see what cards he has. We can do some trades. Maybe we have some duplicates. Like, it's a really, really cool thing to actually get connected, make some trades, almost be a little bit competitive with your buddies if you need to. So really cool. Go check it out. The link is down below in the description. It's the Pocket Dex app. Shout out to them. Shout out to the whole community. Amazing stuff. Now, let's get to some of these cards that are seeing absolutely ridiculous gains in the Pokemon market. All right, we're starting off right at the current set with Morty's Conviction. Absolutely wild stuff. This card, pre-release here, this is a 1 month graph. Pre-release here was at like $44.95. Dropped right away over the initial weekend to $37.67. And now just in the last week, absolute insanity has taken place, up 96.3% to $88.24. At the time of recording this, this is currently the #1 card out of Temporal Forces. Like, it has eclipsed the Iron Crown. Absolutely bananas. Okay, the Iron Crown is next, and we've talked about this one at length already, but this one started off not too bad, $54.90. Over initial launch weekend, this thing shot up. There was actually a sale on TCG Player for $250. Wild stuff. People were calling it the next Moonbryon. I never bought it, even though Iron Crown is sitting beside a moon and whatnot. But it shot up a lot, and now it hit that high of $101.15. Now it's kind of just been slowly trending down, and just recently, that Morty's Conviction overtook this card as the #1 spot. But there's still just this weird thing where people are buying cards on TCG Player, and I think just in the market in general, because in my opinion, even if I'm buying on Facebook groups, people are following the market price on TCG Player. Like, it's one of the mainstays of market pricing, okay? And then people are buying this card and buying it out. Like, there seems to be a lot of buyouts happening where people, or a group, a handful of people, pick a card, buy all the stock up, and then they resell it for way more money, okay? Iron Hands, we're back into Paradox Rift now. This one, a little bit of a different story. I think the reason for this one, so here's another reason why these cards could increase in value, is just because this card becomes a mainstay in the actual TCG, so people want this card. Started at $29.13. That was 3 months ago. Now it's at $35.63. So it's seen a big increase, like kind of early in March and into April here. But I mean, I get it. People, if you are playing the TCG, I would want a special illustration rare card for my deck rather than just like the regular double rare EX card for sure. So this card gains a little bit of value because of the TCG game. This one, on the other hand, now this is a 3-month graph for Magikarp. We've seen it increase slowly and slowly over time. Remember when Paldea Evolved first came out? It was like a $20 card. Quickly spiked to $80, like that was within the first week. Then dropped right back down to $40, and now ever since has just been slowly creeping up dollar by dollar over the weeks and months. And now, just in the last week, it has gone from a $75 card to eclipsing $100. Now it's on $106.63. You can't tell me that this is like, what is happening here? There's got to be some level of manipulation. But that being said, this is literally one of my favorite cards out of Scarlet and Violet era so far. So in some respect, it doesn't surprise me. This card, this is a $100 card all day, in my opinion, even though it hasn't been there forever. So what's interesting, will this card actually stay eclipsed at over $100? Or is this just one of those market manipulation plays where it spikes up and then it comes back down? But this card has just been having momentum ever since the day Paldea Evolved hit the market. It was increasing. It can't be stopped. And for good reason. I absolutely love this card. Okay, now here's a few. We're going to go back into Sword and Shield era. 2 other reasons. These first ones that we're going to talk about have just straight gains. No rhyme or reason attached to it, not that I'm aware of. Glaceon VMAX. These, I think, are all from Evolving Skies. Wild stuff. Started at $150.09, now up to $161.79. Big gains over the last, month and a half. That's March 2nd, where it hit that low of $146.11. Then we have the Sylveon. Kind of similar, even though it had a little spike there mid-March, but then it dropped, and now it has just been spiking. $152.50 is where this one currently sits. Leafeon, big spike right at the end here. Tons of Pokemon cards are going through this, and I don't know, is there that many buyouts taking place on TCG Player? Just a select group of people are going in on all the big cards? Or is this just a natural progression of Pokemon as these sets get older and older? Okay, Leafeon at $191.49. So it's like a 19% gain, literally, basically in the last week. Umbreon. This one has something special to it because PokeRev talked about this one he liked this one better than the Umbreon VMAX. Ever since then, that happened 3 weeks ago, right when this graph started to rise. Ever since, it has just boomed. Started at $91.44 3 months ago. You've almost doubled your money if you have this card. It's currently at $174.61. Honestly, the sales are happening. Like, I didn't include it on my presentation here, but TCG Player has sales of all these cards. Like, every single day they're selling at these prices and more. Absolutely wild stuff. All right, here's the last bit. Two sides of the story. So here's where I think what's actually happening is like pretty legit. Okay. A year ago, Pokemon cards were at like kind of their peak. And ever since then, they've kind of been on the decline. And now we're seeing them start to spike back up. So are they actually seeing gains, or are they seeing just recoveries from a year ago when they were at their high? I think a little bit of both is happening, but I'm going to show you the 3-month graph versus the 12-month graph, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Charizard V alternate art from Brilliant Stars. 3 months ago, it was at $121.10. Now it's at $135.44. So up 11.8%. But if we look back to a year ago, this card is actually still down 10.5%. It was at $151.35. So is this one actually gaining a ton or not? Not really. It's just going back up to where it started at. Okay. Listed median price, however, $189.98. So there is listings of this card for like plus $200 on TCG Player. And most of the ones that are under this median price are not mint. So I don't know what's happening, but this card could be on the rise for sure. Next up, we got Machamp. 3 months ago, $84.32. Now it's at $98.66. So looks like it's risen 17% over the last 3 months. But over the last year, still down 14.7% because it was at $115.65. So what can we glean from this? Well, the listed median price, not that that means everything, but it's a good indication. This card is on the up and up. People are paying more money than the market price of $98.66 right now. People are paying over $100 for this card, so it could continue to increase. Next, my favorite card, and I still haven't pulled it. We might try to today, to be honest with you. Giratina, 3-month graph, completely in the awesome direction. Started at $246.17, currently at $303.54. So over the last 3 months, gained 23.3%. But if you look at the year graph, 326.92 is where it started a year ago. So it's actually down 7.2%. So it's recovering, but check this out. The listed median, 361.10. So this card, again, could be seeing all-time highs in the near future if this trend continues. Espeon, $153.63 is where it's at, this beauty from Fusion Strike. And this one has always been the lesser card out of the two big chase cards out of Fusion Strike, but it's seeing some pretty serious gains here over the last 3 months, 24.3% up. And if you look at this graph is a little funny because it actually had spiked just at a year ago, hit that high of 155.34, and now it's just about there at its all-time high of 153.63. Just before then, it was a little bit lower, so we're actually seeing that this card is still up over the year, but not by much. If we're like 2 weeks later, we're going to see that this card is basically right where it was a year ago. $162.78 is the listed median, so that's actually relatively close to where this card is currently selling at. So are we going to see a big increase on this one? Hard to say. Lugia V alt art from Silver Tempest. Big gains over the last 3 months, especially over the last week or two here. Started at $127.34, now up to $161.31. A 26.7% gain. If we look over the last year, this card at release was above $200. So a year ago it was at $174.75. Now it's at $161.31. So it's actually down over the year 7.7%. But listed median above $200, $201.24. This card could easily eclipse $200 again, in my opinion. So, I mean, like, it's up to you to decide what to do with this information. But we're seeing all of these big chase cards from Sword and Shield start to really increase in price. Rayquaza, currently the number 2 card, but it is going to be in a fight for that number 2 spot out of the most valuable cards out of Sword and Shield era. With a couple cards, including that Giratina and one that's still coming up. Rayquaza started 3 months ago at $238.89, now at $314.13. So big gains, specifically over the last month or so. 31.5% over the last 3 months is up. Now, if we look at the year graph, started at 295, hit that high of like just above 300 early on last year, and then continued to decline, just like lots of the Pokemon cards over the last like year into most of 2023. We saw a decline in Pokemon cards. Now, just over the last month, big gains, and it's actually now up over the last year, 6.3%. Listed median on this one, check this out, $434.62. So if we go back, right now the market price on this is $314. Listed median is $434. That is a big gap. A big gap. This card could do some damage in the marketplace if it continues following this trend. Blaziken. Now, here's a thing that happened with Blaziken. Cool Trainer Ryan. I personally believe that he has a big enough audience in the Pokemon investing and collecting scene to manipulate this a little bit. He opened so many booster boxes of Chilling Reign, couldn't pull this thing until finally he did, but it took him forever. And I think that in part has something to do with the gains we're seeing on this card. But look at this graph over the last 3 months. It is like parabolic. Absolutely amazing if you own this card. Started at $164.99, now at $217.80, a 32% gain over the last 3 months. If you look at the last year of it, this card was a $230 card. So it declined all through 2023, and now it's really climbing back up. Where will it go? Here's the listed median price, $318.49. So market price was $217.80, median price $318. That's a $100 difference. This card could be going places. Umbreon VMAX, literally the biggest chase card of Pokemon in recent memory. I wasn't part of Pokemon during Sun and Moon era, but I can't imagine that the chase for Latias and Latios was as big as the Umbreon chase. You can correct me if I'm wrong, leave a comment and let me know. But I think this is like one of the biggest cards. It is going to be one of the biggest cards in Pokemon history. Umbreon VMAX, 3 months ago, you could buy it for $535. Now, $712 for a near mint raw copy of it. That's the market price. A year ago, you could buy it for $637. So it did decline. It hit a low of $491. You could buy it for under $500. And everyone was freaking out. Oh no, this card is finally coming down. Nope, it is rebounded and then some. Absolutely crazy. $712.59. What is the listed median price? Oh my goodness. $999.97. This card, in my opinion, this is just my opinion and nothing else, but I could see this card being a $1,000 raw card in no time. Little side note, I was watching a Nostalgianomics video where he was talking about like other TCGs. Pokemon is nowhere near the top in terms of like raw prices. Like One Piece has $1,000 and $2,000 raw cards. Even Disney's Lorcana, the Elsa Enchanted card, is worth an insane amount of money. Yu-Gi-Oh has cards. Magic has cards that are worth so much money. Pokemon, like, it's not out of the realm of possibilities to see the Umbreon be a $1,000 card. But just my opinion, no truth or like, it's just an opinion. Okay, last card we're talking about here, Gengar VMAX. And I literally believe that this could be the number 2 card out of Sword and Shield era in the near future with these gains. 3 months ago, started at $215.90, now at $289.66, which is a 34.2% increase. If we look at the year graph, this one can't be stopped. A year ago, you could buy this card for $186.45 in the market price, now at $289.66. A huge increase, actually a bigger increase over the year than over the last 3 months, which is wild and different than the other couple cards that we've been talking about in this section of the presentation. So over the year, up 55.4%. What is this listed median? $384.35. Could be going places. I love this card. Love that it's Gengar. Gengar is so popular, and I think this artwork is absolutely spectacular. Might be my favorite pull of all time, though I didn't capture it on camera, unfortunately. So I don't know what's going on right now, but I sure think that there's a few things at play. Number one, there is definitely market manipulation happening where people are buying out cards on TCG Player and eBay and then listing them for more money than they were listed at before. For sure. But number 2, I think there's just a natural progression happening in Pokemon where especially most of these cards that we looked at were Sword and Shield era cards. Sword and Shield was during that COVID era where there was lots of money being sunk into collectibles. People got into Pokemon, including myself. People came back into the hobby. And now, of course, some people leave, but lots of people stayed. Like, overall, I think Pokemon has actually grown. Even though there's lots of complaining about Scarlet and Violet era and whatnot, I think Pokemon is in an absolutely great space. And more, as time goes on, I think people are realizing, hey, I don't have that Gengar card yet, and I really want it. I'm willing to pay the price for it. Or the Giratina, or the Rayquaza, or the Umbreon VMAX. Like, this is in Canadian dollars, but I just saw an Umbreon VMAX listed for 1,600 Canadian for a PSA 10. That's absolutely wild. I thought I overpaid for mine when I paid 1,100 Canadian. So just absolutely wild stuff. People, if you are having these cards in your collection, you're seeing massive gains, especially if you track it on Pocket Dex app or on Collector or whatever. And I don't know what else to say. So when I'm out of words, we got to rip into some packs, and I'm going to chase that Giratina alt art from Lost Origin. Here we go. All right. On the Giratina hunt. I don't know if I ever pull that stupid card. I don't know what I'm going to do because it's literally my favorite card. I've been able to pull lots of the chase cards, but not that one. And I'm going to lose my mind if it ever happens. Well, it'll happen one day. We got a V. I think that's a rainbow, actually. Aerodactyl, rainbow, right off the bat. Okay. Not too bad. I will take that all day. First good hit of the day. But, I mean, I think back to, like, some other chase cards that I've hit. Like, I hit the Lugia, which was a really fun one and memorable because I hit that one along with the Rayquaza Trainer Gallery card on the same video out of 10 packs. Just wild stuff. My actual favorite memory of pulling cards was not on camera, where I pulled the Gengar VMAX and the Espeon VMAX back to back out of 2 packs of Fusion Strike out of the Costco mini tins. Just absolutely wild. I don't think I'll ever beat that one personally. I don't know, but that's what makes opening Pokemon cards so fun. You can all of a sudden just get a huge hit, and it's wild. One night I was just like doing a little D-Gen session, opened 5 packs of Evolving Skies, pulled the Rayquaza VMAX, so that was pretty fun. I was pretty pumped about that. I mean, so Pokemon cards are just so fun. Chandelure, okay, all right, another hit, not too shabby. But back to the topic of conversation in this video. Like, it is wild. We didn't even look at the PSA 10 prices, but seriously, if I'm going to, like, continue my quest to get all the top cards of the sets from Sword and Shield era in a PSA 10, I mean, I better get on it quick because it's getting more and more expensive by the day, which is wild. All right, another hit. I just want to sniff. I want that silver border. One time. But here's the other thing. I've talked about it a few times, but right now, the top cards in Sword and Shield, of course, the Umbreon I don't think is ever going to get overtaken. But we have the Giratina fighting for that number 2 spot. We have the Rayquaza VMAX fighting for that number 2 spot. And I firmly believe, like, put this on the record, that Colin from the Poke Office believes that the Gengar VMAX from Fusion Strike could easily take that number 2 spot in terms of market value. I just think it's that good of a card. I really do. We got another card, another hit. Trainer. Volo. Okay. Well, we're already at 4 hits. A full art trainer. We've gotten like one of every rarity so far. We just need an alternate art now. Is that too much to ask? Can't be that hard. Come on, baby. Nothing there. 2 packs left. We got 2 chances at it. The other thing, which is wild, And it's been so long because this video is going on longer than I had anticipated. But the Morty's Conviction, another Gengar card. I always thought, like, I was really shocked to see it early on in Temporal Forces at that $35 mark. Ooh, Snorlax. And another hit, Pidgeot. These packs are stacked. But I was shocked to see the Morty's Conviction card only like $35. I always thought it was going to be like a $50 to $75 card in that range. Now, with whatever's happening in the market manipulation, a $90 card, like, I don't know if it can keep that up, but people do like Gengar. Like, it has a chance. It has a chance. Speaking of chance, this is our last chance. Right now, Radiant Gardevoir, and I already choked out the last card for the Politoed. Seriously, out of 10 packs, that was an insane amount of hits. So, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 hits out of 10 packs of Lost Origin? That is wild. Probably the best one right here. Aerodactyl. I don't remember how much the Volo is worth. I don't think it's worth too much. But not too bad. Not too bad. That's going to do it for me at the Poke Office. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Make sure to hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel with bell notifications on for that 10,000 subscriber giveaway party and live stream happening on April 26th. Appreciate you all so much. And until my next video, peace.